Good morning. We'll focus for 2 more minutes in silence. Thank you. Good morning. Welcome. Invite you back. Invite us together. Invite you to share your words.
Thank you, Jesse. Good morning, everyone. The word I got this morning was rejuvenation.
Rejuvenation.
Thank you, Pascal. Thank you, Jess. So my word for today is, I've got two. One is intention and the other is imagination.
The intention of imagining the life you love.
Mm-hmm.
I can relate.
It's rejuvenating. Oh, that's good. Yeah. Thank you both. As I was dancing with each of you, in the silence, tension of intention.
Mm.
My words, attention, tension of intention. Rejuvenated by imagination.
Yeah, when you said intention, I heard yesterday comfort zone is the death of the soul.
For adults, it certainly is.
Yeah, and I also heard your self-discipline ends where your limitation begins.
Mm. Mm. There's another word that I was also wanting to talk to, and that's transmute. And for me, I think I've got this right, but I could have it wrong because I've never actually looked it up. And it's a relatively newish word for me. I only got to hear it about in the last, 8 years or so. And it's inherent in it is the implication of moving from shadow to light. And I really, really like thinking about change in that way.
Yeah, it's the transmutation of the false self to the true self.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the whole journey is a deconstructing aspect. It's like we realize that we're not that. Okay, let it go. I'm not that either. Let it go. It's not adding on because we're perfect, whole, whatever the word you want to use. And that hit me hard, you know, because I thought like I need to add on. It's the shedding.
That's a lovely word too, shedding.
Yeah, I think I got this from my dogs. Yeah, and love will alchemize anything that is not true to you. Yeah, last night, like, spent a little bit of time with Kai on the bed with my wife, and then I don't know. I can't really explain it, but like I had so much love for this little being. And before it was just like, okay, yeah, you know, I love him, you know, but yesterday was just like so profound. It's just like I don't want to go to bed, you know? Like, kind of have to right now. It's getting late, you know?
You didn't want to switch it off, Pascal.
No.
I don't want to lose it. The progression from where we are to where we want to be. And it takes many shapes, many forms, as many as unique people there are. From one day to the next, getting through one day. To expressing, living, journeying, soul's goals, and everything in between.
Yeah, it's like a puzzle, right?
Mm.
I don't know how many people there's on this planet, but say like 8 billion puzzle, and you only fit at one spot, but you're so unique. You're not the same as anybody else. But to make a perfect picture, we need all these pieces.
A perfectly imperfect picture, Pascal.
Mm.
But it's a whole picture.
Yeah. What are we hearing in the background? Is it birds?
It must be, I think so.
Yeah, eh? Nice. They got a lot to say this morning.
Yeah.
Just like Kai. Oh my God. Like in the morning, it's just like, it's like he's telling me all his dreams, you know? Like non-stop.
No doubt you're listening.
Oh, I love it.
Yeah, exactly.
I love it.
Pascal, I had an aunt that used to call that angel music before they could talk,
Mm.
before they could say words.
Allison, I asked an interesting question yesterday to the guys. If you have like 1 or 2 questions to ask to God based on your evolution, what would it be?
The first one would be, how do we manage to preserve the planet for life with humans that appreciate it and invest in it?
I think we need to get out of the way.
I know, unfortunately, it seems to be. But I mean, it's also, and yeah, it would feel like such a lost opportunity for me when I see what humans can do and do, you know, in terms of being respectful. And so then I guess the next question from that would follow for guidance in terms of that I do that more and more as a single, you know, just as one unit, and guidance then and facilitation to promote that. I was listening to a documentary on CBC, Pascal, on trying to recreate an environment for life. And they gave numbers there. There are 250,000 plant genuses. I think 40,000. I'm not good with remembering numbers, but there were 40,000 different species of animals, of which we, from a previous statistic, we've lost over 40% of the genuses of mammals. And then, of course, there are the insects. And I think there's something like, I would imagine that there must be the same amount of insects as plant species, if not more. And that's just looking at land mass. I think. Maybe it does include the oceans. And it took millions of years for that to develop.
Yeah.
And then when I think of what I've said, then I think that my tendency is always, or or not always, but mostly, I would say, is to preserve, right?
Mhm.
But I want to preserve because of the creativity of it. And the potential that I see in it. So that experience that you had with Kai and your wife last night, that's how I often feel. If I go walking in the woods, there's so much life.
Oh yeah. There's so much life we don't, like, we can't even perceive.
Mm. Mm.
Like even just the mycelium underneath the
Yes,
ground.
absolutely. And the connectivity that happens.
Oh,
It's amazing.
you know, in my backyard, like I've got like 3 trees. They're they're tall, right? They're not super big, but I just can't believe like I was looking at my yard and I was like, why there's other trees that's growing in my yard,
Mm.
right? And I was just like, this doesn't make sense at all. And it's like, it's not like flat, right? Like, so it has to go over steps and whatnot. Well, I realize it's the roots of
Mm.
this tree.
Mm.
And I'm like, what?
Mm.
Like, we're talking like probably like where the trees are growing, probably 20 feet, 25 feet.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, but I feel the shift. I really definitely feel the shift, like even just like as simple as people like they stop buying like always new stuff,
Mm. Mm.
right? They reuse other people's stuff.
Mm.
I mean, I can't really tell by the landfill really, but you know,
Mm.
but I do my part, you know.
Mm.
I do my part. So that's all I can do, right? Lead by example, and then people will follow.
And yes, and it's also that, even if people don't, by you doing what you do, you're feeding that energy.
Yeah.
And who knows how, we don't realize how strong each individual's contribution, energetic contribution is.
Yeah. Yeah, that's another thing we don't understand how powerful we are just as an individual.
Yeah. Because we're not an individual.
No, exactly. Exactly, but you know how it is.
Yes, I do.
You know how people
Totally.
think. Hey, you're not your body. What the hell you're talking about? You should live on Mars.
No, thank
Okay. Yeah. People are not open to new idea, concept. They love their comfort zone.
you.
Like we send a birthday wishes for a really good friend, and like my wife says, like, yeah, can you write something in the card? And I'm pretty sure like my wife's gonna be like, why did you write this? So I says, pretend you arrive here and now. Yeah, pretend that you arrive here and now. No past, no future. This birthday will be the best birthday ever if you choose. I hope you have a wonderful birthday, and hopefully we'll see you soon.
And what was her response?
I don't know.
Okay.
And I don't care.
She asked you to do it, so you did it.
Yeah. And yeah, it doesn't matter what's the response, right?
So I love that pretend prompting, Pascal. That's really beautiful.
Yeah, because we always comparing, right? Oh, my birthday wasn't as good as last year.
Yeah.
Pretend you just arrived here now.
Yeah.
No past, no future. This birthday will be the best birthday ever if you choose to.
Or this birthday will be the best until the next.
Yeah.
And choice. There's so much awareness that you put into that message. It's really beautiful.
Well, I just feel like, usually I take my inspiration, I just go birthday wishes, and then like I take my inspiration and I make something up with it. And I'm like, no, this time I'll be true to myself,
Nice.
That's what I learned, and that's what I want to send as a message.
That's what you want to share of yourself.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm done fragmenting myself. Oh, I'm going to be this way with my friend. I'm going to be this way with my wife. I'm going to be this way with Kai. No.
Clarity, eh?
Yeah. That way my life won't be fragmented.
True.
Attention of intention.
I choose for today to create more future memory. Of what I want.
Oh, Allison. Wow.
it's a practice that we've all got available to us, like all the time, and I haven't been doing it.
You haven't been what? Sorry?
I haven't been creating my future memories often enough.
You can start right now.
Exactly.
It's never too late.
No, never ever. Never ever. Saying that, Pascal, takes me back to when I saw the recode the first time in Chris's ad. And I sat thinking about it afterwards, and I thought, imagine if you could help people who are terminally ill with that process. And what it could do for the fears that people have. And the sadnesses that they still carry. And how that could change the underlying energetic pattern with which they leave the body. Because that's basically what all those rituals around death usually are for, right? It's for the soul. And so even if,
Yeah, go ahead.
even if humans do need to leave the planet, it's an ending of one thing, but it's the beginning of another. It'll be another life form. Well, there's one thing that we're guaranteed of, I think, is infinity. The one yogi used to say the only thing that's guaranteed in life is the unexpected.
Alison, did you ever read the Supercharged Self-Healing by R.J. Skinner? I think I shared with you.
Yes.
Yeah.
I haven't read his because I've read so many other people's journeys, and I only have so much time in the day, Pascal. I'm so sorry. I will get to it at some point.
No, it's all good. You know, it's all good.
Mhm.
Yeah, when you share, like it's really like deconstructing that false self, right? Like
Mhm.
so that's the first step, knowing that you're not your body, you're not your thoughts, you're not your emotion, like you're just aware of your awareness.
Yes.
And so that's the first step. And then the second one, like, so it really relate to, yeah, like magnetic mind, because like the second step is like knowing what you want, knowing what you desire,
That's
right?
right.
So like be clear on that.
Yeah, clarity is so important and so useful, right?
But what he says too, it's not like, oh, I want to heal my knee this way, right? Like it's
Correct.
not that specific. Like the how, like it's irrelevant, right?
Correct.
So like really keep it open.
Yeah.
And then one step I shared in this group, that meditation, I think it's pretty powerful. At one point, maybe I'll do it again, you know. And yeah, he's got 7 steps, and really, it's not like he's not focusing on the actual body, and that's what's different with this book I found. Right? It's not about like, you got to take this pill or take this
Yeah.
tincture, medication, whatever, right? Like,
No,
it's not about that at all.
No,
right?
it's about
So,
consciousness, right?
and it's like I'm there, but I'm not there. You know what I mean? Like I'm past like prescription medication, but then like when it comes to natural stuff, I'm still not there. I shed so much stuff though. Like I'm not even taking like half of what I used to take,
That's good.
right? And like I feel great, it's not so, but I'm still not there. Like I'm still taking stuff, be like, oh, okay, I'm gonna take ashwagandha because it does this to me, blah blah blah, right? Like, but I'm not like, but it, like he says, it's all a prescription slip.
Mm.
Everything is,
Mm.
So I don't know. When you have time or something, or like you feel the desire to read. I think it's a really, really good book. Like I think, yeah, it's the 3rd time I'm reading it through. So
That's wonderful that you've found something that resonates so deeply for you.
yeah.
It's really great when that happens.
Now I already ordered a 2nd book. It's just change your mind. It's about limiting beliefs and all that stuff, shedding all that stuff out because it's not me. And yeah. So yeah.
Pascal, I'll share something with you. The others, I think, might have heard it already. But when I was in my early 30s, I went to visit my meditation teacher. He had an ashram here in the Catskill Mountains. And I'd already been diagnosed with my liver condition. And I really wanted to turn that around. So I had 10 days with him, and you could book a private audience. Otherwise, you spend like, in a day, you spend like 3 or 4 hours with him, either meditating or doing chanting and doing Sanskrit.
Right.
So my question to him was, Gurji, why is my body ill? Why do I get ill so often? Obviously, the reason I'm asking is so that I can unpick what I can change. And he looked at me. I hadn't even finished the question yet, and he was laughing. And he had had a stroke, so he had to have a scribe to translate his words, more clearly for people. And so I'm sitting there thinking, I'm asking this serious question. Why is he sitting and
And you're
laughing?
laughing. Yeah.
And then the scribe that he had, that was with me, she was 16 years old at the time, or she might have been 18. Anyway, she was really young. And I could just see her going blood red. And I'm thinking, what on earth has he said? And what he'd said to her was, what he'd said to me was, do you ask yourself why when you have an orgasm? And that's the depth, right?
Wow.
No, but you say yes and.
Say more, Craig.
Well, you say yes and because it's yes. It's like your whole body is saying yes to you. Your whole being is saying yes to you.
Mm.
There's a unity in it, a unity and a oneness. In the whole experience.
Yeah, you argue. I've got no argument with that at all.
Yeah. And like, why would why even cross your mind when you're in the middle of that?
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
Just like it doesn't cross your mind when you're healthy.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
There becomes a difference, a progress, right?
Mm.
I
Go for it.
was healthy. Now it's assumed to be unhealthy.
Yeah, so the
Yeah.
surface. Yeah, sorry, Jason.
No, that was me. You go ahead.
Oh, okay. The surface, the attention is different, but the fundamental is constant. And what I mean by that is just that, as you were saying, Jess, that when you're healthy, you don't ask why, which is
Right.
a lot of what he's pointing to having an orgasm is. We don't ask why when our bodies are fulfilled and ecstatic. We just accept. But even in that state, often we're not
relax. At the bedrock of the fundamental of being one.
Was that his lesson for you? Like, how did you work it? How did you apply it or live it?
I don't think I managed to live it as successfully as what I could now. And by successfully, I mean that I still got swayed and influenced by the state of my body. Or the experience that I had in my body. Especially with pain. I lived it with my meditation practice, but in the moments of being confronted with death, there was a lot of pushback, enormous amount. But I have enormous gratitude still for having that container of yoga in which to understand life. And to have that experience of vastness in between. With Pascal talking about R.J. Spina's book, there's another book that was written quite some time ago. I mean, like I said, I've read quite a few biographies like his, like I imagine his to be, and with what Pascal is saying. And the one that I'm referring to now, is the title was Dying to Be Me. And her experience was very similar in many ways, I think, to what I experienced from time to time, just in terms of that grasping. Whereas interestingly with him, even though, it was a sudden onset, and he immediately knew. And it's so interesting how, as we were saying before, each unique life builds this incredible picture, builds the organism, as Craig would say. And each of our light, that's the other thing for me, is that each of our light reflects on another's mirror, and our mirror reflects theirs. And so this other phenomenon gets created. And that happens from moment to moment. And if we just had to pay attention to that, we wouldn't have to create future memories, because they're right there. But as Pascal said, I've still got a few steps to take.
Thank you. Thanks, Allison.
Welcome.
That I choose. I choose to serve abundant outcomes.
Mm.
Desires.
Okay, guys. Thank you again for this wonderful morning. I really appreciate them. And I will see you soon. Have a great day.
Bye, Allison. I read it. Saw an article yesterday. And they were scientific discovery of stimulating cells with, I believe it was electricity, frequency, basically, electrical gene targeting. And this study was on focusing it on the cells that produce insulin in the case of diabetes. And they were getting phenomenal results in lab tests of mice. They were talking about how that would or could be incorporated into sensors and wearables. But I found more fascinating, like that's what we do with our words, with our intentions. That frequency that charge feeds, aligns the cells, the DNA. Words matter.
Yeah, they do matter way more than we think. And yeah, I'm really like watching my word carefully. But even yesterday, like, you know, it depends with which person, right? Like, it's almost like, yeah, you almost have to meet them at the same place that they are, you know, and it's, you don't have to, it's just like the conversation is a little bit easier. So, but I found it like kind of like constricting a bit more, right? So my word were either expanding or like constricting, and then like found it with that person because of his situation. Then like I don't know, like I don't know why I was kind of like talking more his language. And I mentioned like I'm not gonna fragment myself, so it's a progress. It's a progress, you know. I'm not doing it 100% yet, but yeah. But I reflect after a word. I was just like, was I helping him or? But then like he sent me a, because I was kind of like coaching him in the sense, and I was like, I didn't say like, oh, I'm kind of like tired of your bullshit, but in the same sense, like I was just like, well, I'm hearing the same thing over and over, and then like you're saying you want to do this, but you haven't done anything for it, like even just a single little thing. And he becomes defensive, right? And then he threw the ball at me, right? And I was like, well, the difference with me, it's like I don't know what I want yet, right? Because I know how to take action and all that, but like I just don't know what I want right now. So I'm just not putting energy toward like anything really, right? Like I'm just putting my energy of finding out what I want to do. But anyway, so I was telling that, and then like he was like, and then like, he hang up. But then like I don't know, maybe An hour later, he was like, "Oh yeah, I phoned this person, and then like I'm gonna start like in the fall and this and that." And I was like, "Okay, well, what I said, like maybe it felt constricting, but they expand them, so."
I love the awareness of contracting or expanding.
Mhm.
Like it's always it's always there. One of them is always there. To varying degrees. When we're aware of them, when we're listening to them, and when we're speaking them, there's so much more potential. So I can change my choice and I choose to serve expansion.
Yeah, and sometimes like a word might be harsh, right? Because I've got another friend that like I think I mentioned to you guys, but anyway, so he was here in Alberta, and then like after 2 kids, she decided that like she wants to go home in Ontario, and he had no choice like to follow. So he followed, and a year later, like she left him. Right, so he's like in the province that like he doesn't know. Like he had a fairly good job here and everything, so he kind of had to start from zero. But so now it's been like, I don't know, it's been probably like 3 years of that, and then like every time I hear it's like, oh, she's done that to me, da 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 da, and then I've been listening, and I've been like having compassion with him. But now I'm like, well, he hasn't moved on. So am I really helping? Like at one point, like you have to be like, are you done with this? Like, are you gonna like bring this event for the rest of your life? You're gonna be miserable because of that event, sometimes you have to come at the point, and like that person might get upset, but then be like, okay, yeah, maybe he's right. I can't live this way, right? Like it's just like, but again, like he found the payoff because everybody around him like agreed. Oh, like she shouldn't do that. Blah 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 blah. So like we have almost like pity for him, right? But is it helping him? No. So
And most of the time when we're in that situation, blaming We don't even see it.
No, no, we don't.
We're just, the payoff, right, is the payoff is from a child's pattern, a pattern that we learned as a child of
Mhm.
how to operate in this world, in our world.
Yeah.
And it's like operate is how to remove, how to release the tension. And it's only momentarily, it's only temporarily, but creates an oscillation between the two. Never. It's unresolvable until we break out of that structure or change the underlying structure of it.
Yeah.
I mean, a simple example of that is what you spoke earlier, right? Is we want to be comfortable. So it's comfortable to blame. But then there's something deep that's gnawing at us that says, like, we've got to, like, our, what did you say? How did you say it? Like, the soul wants something else.
Yeah, like comfort zone is the death of the soul.
Mm-hmm. And the soul is like the creative, the imaginable, the expanding that wants to bring something, create something into existence. It's the passion, the purpose.
Yeah. Yeah.
And if you think around comfort, that is uncomfortable.
Mm-hmm.
So it's in conflict. We call that intention with comfort.
Yeah, talking about comfort, like I don't know if it was a study or something, but like whatever Joe was sharing about Kevin Trudeau, I watched another video of him, or listened to another video of him, and then he was saying like it's really interesting, like people that has nothing, they create endlessly, and but like the issue is like, so they create and they emit that vibration that like to the universe, like I want to create, and then like no fear, like I'm just creating. But then when they get to a comfort zone, say they have enough money or something, they stop creating and they want to protect what they built. And now you're admitting that like, oh, I have a fear of losing it, so I need to protect my investment in this and that. And then like now you're admitting that like you're in fear. And most of the time, people start losing it all.
Hmm.
So I thought it was really like, really interesting. Like,
That's where the thrive mentality takes you.
yeah,
Because you have this quick influx of what you might call abundance, and then
Mhm.
you have to protect it.
yeah,
You need barns to store it in, right? There's a parable in the Bible about that too. It's very interesting.
and we do that with like women as well, right? Like, you know, like you get like this girlfriend, and it's like,
Yeah, of course.
oh, she's gold, you know. And then they're like, oh, I'm gonna protect her, like nobody can see her, blah blah blah, and all that stuff, right? And then like all of a sudden you're like, shit, she's sleeping with someone else, right? But if you wouldn't admit that, she will stay with you.
Yeah, yeah. Well, you mark your territory, right? This is mine. You put ownership on it.
Yeah,
You put it in a box. It's actually the same thing.
yeah. It's just a different example, right? Like it's just. So that hit me really hard yesterday. I was like, whoa.
Wow.
Because I saw the pattern of my dad, you know, and I saw it in myself. So I was like, holy. I understand that, like, my dad picked it up probably from his grandfather, you know, like it becomes generational, right?
Yeah, there's
And
somebody in everybody's generational prints that grew
yeah,
up in the dirty 30s, for an example, right? In fact, both of my parents were born in the 30s, when like dad had one of his feet that was actually malformed because they couldn't afford to buy him shoes that were big enough. You know, like different things like that. And those, you know,
Right.
those, that the energy around that, you know, if it affects you, affects the whole family, it affects your offspring.
Yeah, and it's you know, it doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter like what happened in the past, right? Like it doesn't matter.
No.
And it's not like, oh, you know, and then but like our tendency is like, you know, I'm gonna tell all my problems to someone and then he's gonna have compassion for me. Right? He's gonna be like, oh, I'm so sorry, like you had a rough childhood and you know. And I'm not saying it's wrong, but eventually you gotta break out of there, because like if you always looking at like telling your story because you want like a response from other people, then you'll keep your problem. You know? So and understand too, like all these patterns, they don't belong to you. You know? And it's not to blame your dad. Oh, my dad did that, blah, blah, blah. And then like, well, it probably comes from like his grandfather, or his father, or whatever, right? So it's not to blame anybody. It's just to recognize that it's not you.
Well, that's a key thing to realize, that nobody's to blame. You know,
No.
these things happen, and they were dealt with the way they were, and it's not anybody's fault. I mean, everybody's just trying to get through life
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
best they can. That's why we stop and honor things.
Yeah.
We honor
That's
the
when we're
solution
like,
that we created, or that was created in the moment, right? for the value that it had at the time.
Mhm.
And that's okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, and acknowledge the influence that those things had with everybody.
Yeah.
You know, like think about COVID. I mean, that affected everybody on the planet in one way or another.
I
Was
know.
it anybody's fault? I mean, they're trying to blame it on this and that or this or who or whatever,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Yeah.
But
Right.
the thing is, I mean, it's even if it was contrived, the thing is it's there and everybody had to live through it. And so like, is it anybody's fault? Well, no. And what difference would it make if it was?
Yeah.
You know,
It's how
all
you
us
react to it,
experienced
right?
that.
It's how
Well,
you
yeah.
react to it, right?
Yeah.
So some people like they looked at it, they'd be like, oh, finally, like I don't have to do this work anymore. Now I can do whatever I want. And other people will be like, oh my God, I lost my job. Like, you know, like I worked there for 40 years and it's just a different point of view, right? Say how you see it, how you see
Yeah.
it.
It's an opportunity to actually change your point of view or change how you look at things. There's always a choice there.
Mm-hmm.
You know, do I see the hardship or do I see the gift in it?
Yeah.
Sad thing is, a lot of people aren't even aware that they can see the gift in it.
Well, yeah, they don't see it. They don't see there's a gift in there.
You know, not been trained to look.
Right.
I'm gonna mute because I'm in the grocery store.
Yeah, I figured that much. I figure.
That's what it sounded like. Mhm.
Yeah, yeah. I'll let Jesse take the lead.
Mhm. Just, you know, it's like when we find someone to blame it on, you know, it gives us comfort, but it doesn't change.
Nope.
It doesn't release it. Maybe it does. Maybe that's a way that we eventually move on from it. We don't have to search for who to blame anymore.
Mm-hmm. When everybody sees themselves equal.
And just equally unique.
Yeah.
I mean, I
Yeah,
keep
you're not.
keep
Yeah,
coming
go
back to
ahead.
your card example, right? And it's like it's like you already wrote it. It's like it's done, right? It's already in there. So the alternative would be to go get a new card,
Yeah,
right?
and I don't think she's willing to do that.
Mm-mm. Hmm. Blaming, bitching, complaining, judging, proving, validating, being right.
Yeah, that's a big one.
They're all patterns, right? They're all conditioning about, like that's how we have to, like that's a way to react, a way to respond. The only choice we have.
Or is it?
It definitely isn't. But if we're fixed on it, right? If we're in that limitation, that comfort zone of it, we only see it one way, right? We have no other experience of seeing it the other way. Even though we do, we don't think of it.
Well, it comes back to comfort, right? It's uncomfortable to be wrong.
You're right. Which is a conditioning, the same condition that brought it on in the first place. I mean, and it's not like how we think it is.
I think nothing is,
Mm-hmm.
but we're defending it.
Mm-hmm.
No, it has to be this way.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Has to be this way. Contracting, right? All made up in a perception.
Yeah, and the question is like, when you're being right or wrong, are you getting closer to that person, or are you getting more distant? Hey, are you building a relationship, or like you're destroying it? Just because I want to be right.
Yeah.
And if it's your goal to destroy the relationship, then, you know,
Right.
try to be right all the time, right?
Mm-hmm.
Defend your point, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it definitely creates arguments, doesn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Creates chaos, creates which are, likely patterns too that we live in and can't see.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, you think about it, it just all comes down to making it personal.
Yeah.
We feel like they're always attacking us. It's a constant protection.
Yeah. And what are we trying to protect?
Hmm.
Or
Yeah,
who we're trying to protect?
right? And how is protecting different than creating?
Yeah.
Right? Because it's protecting or expanding. Hmm.
Yeah. Which character we're trying to protect? Character that doesn't know anything, that has limited belief, that is not open. That character.
Yeah. Protecting or creating what we want.
Mhm.
Well, I think I'm gonna go play volleyball with my daughter this morning.
Nice.
Yeah,
That's awesome.
she's practicing for volleyball season, and so I'm gonna choose to go do that with her.
Cool. Yeah, I don't know if Craig wants to stay on or what. Do you want to just leave
Yeah.
us on, and then like if we
Yeah,
we
will
decide
do.
just to, I just don't know.
Perfect. I will do that. Now I'll listen in. I'm just gonna go be here. Be
Well, enjoy
there
your
with her, and I'll be here
yeah,
listening. So, all right.
for sure. All right, have a wonderful day, Jesse.
Thanks, Pascal. You too.
Thank you. Hello.